I know what Spirit are going for. The fact that they've played each other 3 times with core lineups, but Spirit have won 2 out of 3 of those times on this map. So despite Vitality coming in as huge favorites, I still give the Spirit a pretty good chance at taking this series if they can manage to grab Mirage off the bat.
Yeah, no, I do think that this is going to be a pretty close match for sure. Of course, ZywOo are going to be an important factor for that Team Vitality side, and I think most of the time we can expect them to show up. But on the other hand, there is players such as Idis Balance who can definitely do a good job on that AWP for Team Spirit. So I expect a very exciting matchup indeed. And I guess so far things, they have been slow. Maybe not as exciting as we'd hoped for. It is just Team Spirit right now setting up rather for what is looking to be that split towards the A bomb site.
They are indeedy. They're contemplating it. And as the smokes go down, the push comes through. Coldie's able to open it up by taking MBK down up close. Well, at least a little bit of a return to be found as Spitty goes down pretty quickly as well. Or Sumda Young, rather. Steve from the goal. Yeah, it's a pretty quick sweep up there in the retake. Apex managed to come in with a double on the dual Berettas. And a very nice start for Vitality with the pistol round under their belt, considering the fact that they've looked shaky on this map in the past. I mean, they're beating decent teams like NRG, but then they lost 16-3 to Sprout. But like I said, Team Spirit have beat them 2 out of 3 times that these core lineups have faced on Mirage. So they need that early little bit of a head start, I suppose.
Yeah, it's definitely what you actually do want to see from Team Vitality. And also, of course, another thing is for French players, they can be quite emotional. So if they do end up getting off to a poor start, I feel like that's definitely something that could affect them in the long run throughout the actual best of 3. So it's nice to see them picking up that pistol. Spirit, though, of course, coming straight back in with a force bite. They're not going to be just giving this one up. And it looks like they may actually be expecting this aggression, rather, that's actually coming through somewhat. It doesn't really seem like Vitality are going to commit too much further, though. Of course, ZywOo just spotting that underpass. Alex going to be the one who's holding top mid initially, and then they can just try and combine together. And unfortunately for Softic right now, he only has a P250 to work with. Not amazing at range.
At least they'll get a close range engagement, but completely blind as it comes through. ZywOo opens up top mid, goes back down for more. He finds the damage, which will allow MBK to sweep them up. Another kill on the board, maybe? No, Apex is going to steal it away. But decent SMG frags already for the CT side. But MBK is low, as well as Alex, so definitely some opportunity for Chopperish to get the damage done. The bomb is towards the top of middle. Hasn't been spotted out just yet, though. But the potential for some of those kind of mind games to come through was there until Alex spotted him out long range and took him down. The one thing I would say, a small shame that Apex was the one finding the kill from short. It just stole a little bit more money away from MBK, but he did find 2 kills with the MP9, so he'll be happy enough. And presumably they're just going to play this one out as a bonus round. ZywOo can pick up a pistol as well. It goes in full utility and actually sticking with the USP. I mean, the fact that you have a Deagle in play there on Apex, as well as a P250 on MBK, I'm surprised they didn't just drop him over a pistol so we can at least be a little bit more viable. It's very unlikely you're going to need that Deagle alongside FAMAS.
I think the thing is, I was probably just feeling confident with the USP. It is very accurate for those first bullets, and you also you can move around quite a bit with it, so it makes things a little bit easier when you're holding down. But yeah, I would have preferred if he was dropped over one of those pistols, just so he at least has a bit of a better weapon to work with in terms of being able to spam away a bit as well. Let's see. A slow round once again from Spirit. Of course, the main goal right now just being to see if they can get that bomb down, and the only utility that they actually have to back that up is a single flash at this point.
Yeah, obviously not investing at all, and that does make ZywOo a much more capable player coming up against players that don't have armor. But even if they had armor, no Kevlar or no helmet to play with, you can just one-tap them out of this universe. We're eventually just going to group up. They're going to try to waterfall down, putting most of their players in through Palace. I presume there, yeah, indeed, Softic's going to be going down towards the ramp with the flash, pop it over, rush the site, see if you can get a bomb plant on default. With the current positions of Vitality, if they get hit by this flashbang, they won't actually be able to stop a plant. Once they make it to the site, Flash does make it over just before he dies, but it doesn't do a whole lot as MBK is still in position. They're planting the bomb, though, and he's not going to get there in time. So, yeah, okay, they find all the kills, decent SMG frags as well coming through. But at the end of the day, mission accomplished for Team Spirit, getting that bomb down.
Yeah, that's really all that they were aiming for, and that could have got even a little bit more dangerous, because if NBK had got caught by like a couple of players ready on the ramp, if he went down and then a weapon was picked up, they would have got that bomb plant as well, and then they would have actually had the opportunity to maybe even play a little bit of an after plant. I mean, it wouldn't have really been planted for them towards the ramp, but there would have been the opportunity for at least a couple more kills to potentially even come in as the CTs had to work in for a retake. So, all things considered, I mean, it wasn't too bad for Vitality, but Spirit off the back of that bomb plant now coming into this round with pretty much everything that they could ask for. Ooh, aggression coming through. That was a great flash catch in Apex right there. RPK does return one before going down. And as we do see Alex and NBK, I believe, both trying to face this now, they end up managing to actually pull back a couple of frags. The nade and the M4 of Alex combining.
That was a really nice opening for Vitality to pull that back. I thought Coldie would get a little bit more dumb, but dinked up immediately and taken down. Angle for ZywOo, just spotted them coming up, and they're slow peeking it, but he's waiting, playing this patiently, knowing that another was on his way. Takes down Sotvik, leaves it all onto Sumdai-young, who's been flanked out, and Alex looking for a third in the round. He achieves it and upgrades to an AK for his troubles. 4-0, beating away the full buy of Team Spirit, leaving them into a position now where, okay, they can invest once more. But they will be lacking at least something. It's the utility to a certain extent, a flash and a smoke on two of their players, and Idis Balance, even to take out that small amount of utility, has gone down to a Galil. So not an ideal buy, but definitely one that still has a lot of potential, considering especially that MBK has kept over the MP9 and currently has 10k stacked up on him.
Oh, already though, ZywOo actually getting taken down there by that push out of Palace. There is a bit of a stack going through right now from the CT side, which allows for at least 2 frags to be returned, but in the meantime, of course, it is that A-bomb site fallen under the control of Team Spirit. They still have a bit of utility left. There's a smoke that can go down towards CT if they do want to try and just go for that safe plant. But as they already have a bit of control, as they molly off the jungle area, as they have one player in towards Connector, this bomb plant is going to be going down in a great position now for them to just try and actually play off of.
Sumdai-young gets lit down by the nade to 55 out in the open. He'll be caught. No more kills to be found for him. But he's already found 3 with 2 teammates left. All they have to do is stop this defuse from coming on in. Smoke goes down to at least block the sight line of Idis Balance, and Coldie on 29 HP in Tetris won't find it all too easy to get too much done. He's been spotted out and taken down, but it's a trade. And with that smoke on the verge of dissipating, sticking that would be almost impossible. Idis Balance doesn't get baited out by it. I mean, if that was a stick inside the smoke, he could have been in a lot of trouble, as he would have only had about a second or so to get the spam in successfully. But biding his time, moving around the smoke, he suspects it to be a fake, and he's correct in thinking so. 4-1, the first round of the board for Team Spirit, and really you got to put all the credit there onto Sumdai-young. Although the post plans were played really well by Team Spirit, finding their trades as they went, Sumdai-young opened it up with 3 kills on the bomb site, and it didn't take any damage. It was Coldie swinging out alongside him to absorb most of those bullets, and then he went on to obviously do a great job later on in the post plans. A very clean round for Team Spirit, even though they lose so many players.
Yeah, and they're just going to try and take a similar approach now in this round, grouping up again outside of A. Not as much presence, it doesn't seem, over towards the Palace. They are instead going to focus 4 players out of ramp this time, and it's understandable they do have slightly weaker weapons this time around as well, with Chopper is stuck onto that Deagle. And the amount of damage that has actually been put through. Sure, they got those smokes down, but a bit of a spam and I believe a grenade actually do combine. Softic trying to get that bomb down, not being very successful. They do eventually return 1 frag, but they're just being taken apart bit by bit right now.
It's not a nice spot with the bomb down in the open as well. Trying to get back in there and perform this, what is essentially a retake for Team Spirit. They got to retake that bomb and put it down on the
with
side.
1 flash. That's all they have to try and actually get that bomb that's stuck out in the open.
And not only do you have a player in Connector, but one that was playing on short, or PK's eventually started to reroute over and make his way towards Kitchen because they need to be cautious. The CT is completely open, and Team Spirit could have pushed through there and now started to make their way towards B. So RPK has to be careful of this angle, make sure that nobody can push in towards Alex. He spotted out that it's clear at this point. I presume, yeah, they've spotted the bomb. Them just switched to ZywOo there. He can see it in the open. So they're conscious of any flankers coming through, looking towards middle. They're right to be as ZywOo takes down Idis Balance, puts it into a 3v2. AK going to be retrieved by Chopperish, but Coldie's on the floor. ZywOo with 3 clean kills on the op, and it's 5-1. Team Spirit, after winning just the 1 round, unable to get it on the board with consecutive buys, and now they're in a position that I don't expect to see too much in their hands outside of pistols. Vitality building up a very strong early lead.
I feel like Team Spirit must have been expecting a bit of a weaker buy in that round, because straight up executing onto the A-bomb site isn't a great idea when you know that your opponent has an amazing buy with all that utility available, because that's what slowed them down, that's what allowed for rotates to come in. And then, of course, by the time that they were even in a position to get that bomb down, we already had like 4 CTs playing behind those smokes, just spamming away, denying the bomb plant. And then, of course, we seen how it went in the end. Nice shot by Ida's Balance, though. A bit of a pre-fire towards ZywOo. And that's the up actually being taken out of play early on. It does look like Alex is going to retrieve it, but I mean, a 5-on-4, taking a bit of an advantage in terms of the manpower is really what Spirit needed when they are working with just pistols.
Alex just removes that AWP, taking it out so that it can't be retrieved if they do eventually push him back with smokes and molotovs. He goes down to 6 HP, continues to face him, finds a kill. MBK getting aggressive, making sure that nobody was able to swing out and try to get a trade, knowing that they probably would. So a decent position now with the AWP retrieved. Alex, although he's low, should be able to take those long-range duels fairly favorably. But as he's now spotted out, he runs the risk of being pre-fired. I'm surprised he continues to aggress. MBK should be able to hold this alone with the M4, but he comes in to support, and there you go, finding the final kill. But it's MBK cleaning up those 2 players coming through ramp, and Palace bring it 6-1, and not too heavy casualties sustained by the CTs. They definitely have the cash flow to rebuy up whatever they need to, as they're going to start out again with that AWP in the hands of ZywOo. Didn't have a great round previously, just picked apart, but it happens.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't his fault. He was just holding a pretty normal angle, and most people, if they have a deagle, do try and pre-fire it. Unfortunately for ZywOo, his head was in the exact same position as the crosshair of Ida's Balance. But right now, Team Spirit just going back over towards this pretty standard mid-control. Molotov down towards Connector stops those players who are playing from that position from actually being able to help Apex, who ends up getting aggressive on short and does end up actually falling. So not only is it a man advantage right now for Team Spirit, they have the mid-control, and they also have ZywOo and Alex down very low.
Oh, it's such a disastrous start for Vitality. They put a Molotov down in window so they'd have a gap in the smoke, but it didn't work out. ZywOo dropped down to try and help out in middle. Then he decides he has to run back up Connector as flashbangs come through. That's the second the Molotov lands. It chips Alex and himself down to 36 on ZywOo, and like nothing on Alex, obviously getting picked off by the Molotov in window directly afterwards. It's just a disastrous situation for them, as within the first 10 seconds, they'd already sustained nearly 200 damage. MBK goes down. They're left with ZywOo on 36 HP to try and pull this back. The legs taken off of Sumdai Young, but it's not enough. RPK and ZywOo know that they don't have the cash to really allow them to get a nice, comfortable buy in the next round. So it's best to save over here. And that round was effectively over, or at least massively in Team Spirit's favor, after they'd thrown maybe 6 pieces of utility, the smoke and window, the Molotov and Connector, 2 flashbangs, and then further nades. It was just disastrous. Vitality caught with their pants down.
And it put all that utility and the fact that, of course, ZywOo and Alex trying to actually escape up through Connector put a bit of pressure on the Apex, who tried to come out short and help them and ended up getting taken down as a result of that. So, well played round by Team Spirit. Looks like they will be able to keep all 5 players alive. Of course, not really trying to hunt this one down, at least not very aggressively. They have pushed around towards top mid, but that is going to be a keeping all 5 weapons in play. Does mean that they should build themselves up a little bit of economy, which is, of course, always nice to find, especially when you're down by quite a few rounds. But Team Vitality now, they're going to have to reinvest. As you said, it wasn't an amazing economy that they had available. Saving over those 2 weapons, though, NBK having 9,000. We do see an op, I believe, being given back over to ZywOo. It was dropped over to Alex initially, so I thought they may have been considering that double op setup. But no, deciding to just stick with the rifles, a good amount of utility. They have pretty much everything again that they could ask for, and still have a tiny bit of money actually left in that bank if they do end up losing this. It wouldn't really allow a full buy, though, unfortunately. But look, this is a little bit of a change, actually, from Vitality right now. They get the op-out down onto Underpass, I believe, alongside a one-way smoke. NBK, though, trying to take a little bit of a wild peek there from Connector, ends up paying a pretty stern price.
Okay, ZywOo spotted out. There's a couple players towards top mid on the back of that smoke going down, the Molotov that he threw, but he decides to bail out, doesn't overstay his welcome. And they had 3 players here early on. Vitality changing their setup towards mid isn't too much of a surprise, considering that it's just been such a successful ploy for Spirit to just consistently move towards there. So I'm glad to see they at least adjusted slightly, but still they lose MBK early on. Sumdai Young and Chopper are lit up pretty low. I mean, the Molotov of ZywOo was fairly effective, as it did take about 2 or 3 seconds for a smoke to go down, causing a lot of that damage to be clocked up beforehand. At the moment, though, they're all stacked up towards A on the T side, but the same can be said for CTs. There's 3 players here. Alex and Underwood. You've got RPK sitting on the default side as well. As soon as one of these players towards side is spotted, they won't expect RPK. He's able to come out and find 2. Daiwu swinging around the smoke, returns a trade at least to bring it into a 2v2, but Apex, with him getting picked off there, this becomes very difficult for Zaiwu with the smokes down. It allows them to get to site and plant the bomb. Look at that angle. He's trying to get a wall bang through. Not landing for him, though.
Yeah, not quite. Would have been really nice indeed, but Zaiwu resorting instead now back to the Deagle, and we know that he can also have some very accurate shots with this one. Just waiting to see if Softic is going to give his head over the box. Actually manages to find both. What is that? Sumda Young in midair gets his head ripped off, and Softic unfortunately not going to be too much more successful as he pops up for the trade frag. Defuse comes through, and that is a massive play from Zaiwu right there in what was pretty much a 1v3.
No question mark. Like, how? What is Zaiwu? The man is an absolute monster.
Sumda Young trying to take that peak a little bit preemptively, though, without having the assistance from Softic on the actual bomb site.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially as you know he has got an op, right? You do not want to be peeking him one at a time, but hell, he doesn't need the op. He's got the big cannon and the hand cannon. Idus Balance at least opens it up again, an opening kill to come in for Team Spirit. They've been doing pretty well in the opening trades. Not even opening trades, but opening duels in general, walking away cleanly with it. I mean, we comment, the T side, if they find 1-for-1s early on, it looks better for them than the CT. Zaiwu, oh, he's made it out without a single lick of damage. He had to run in a straight line to get back into connector, but somehow gets away with that. Idus Balance backs off. As soon as he re-peaks this, Zaiwu's ready for him with the AWP. And this is not a fantastic spot now. I mean, Spirit with a man advantage early on, they've managed to trade it back, but they're still in a 2v2. With Zaiwu lurking about on that AWP, I certainly wouldn't feel too confident.
Yeah, 2v2 should favor Team Spirit, but as you said, with Zaiwu still alive, it's definitely still a bit of an iffy situation, but they've made the correct decision. They are going to take it over towards B. RPK on that site actually only has a FAMAS to work with, a smoke and then a flash as well, but probably not really going to be able to use those to try and delay effectively at all, because of course now just taking this kind of hidey corner in towards Forest, takes the first frag, and went back into the corner to kind of, I guess, fake out that he was just going to hide again and wait for Sumda Young to drop down, and then just catches him as he's falling down from the window for an easy second frag. A great hold from RPK. We know he can definitely do that anchor roll extremely well, and shows us even with just that FAMAS that he's definitely capable. 8-2 right now. Team Spirit, they can at least buy again, but it's beginning to get a little bit out of hand, and I think something we do need to kind of touch on is the fact that Chopper is actually yet to get a frag onto the board.
Yeah, it's never nice to highlight those negative performances, but when your team are really struggling like that and the rounds are coming so close, is definitely something that's going to affect you. And Chopper is a player you don't expect to see with that weaker performance. Early on, you're going to have the 1-for-1 trades coming through. Soptic's able to take MBK. So a man advantage for the T side, but this is even better for them than usual. Zaiwu's caught out on short, so it's all on to RPK. Although he finds a kill, he's left on 12 HP. Idus Balance peeking it with the op, and he catches a pixel, takes him down. A third on the board finally for Team Spirit on the back of Soptic having a pretty good round towards A. I gotta say though, 8-3, it's a scoreline I'm not too confident in because they caught Vitality by surprise there. But there's still plenty of opportunities for Vitality to pull off a phenomenal scoreline. They're so close to even double digits already, but the thing that's playing against them is that they haven't been winning these rounds all too cleanly. I mean, we said it, they've been close. And that's cost them on the CT side to the point that when they lose that previous round, now they're not even able to afford armor on their players, just sitting down on a couple of upgraded pistols. So this should be a fourth for Team Spirit and an opportunity to further bolster down their economy.
Apex is actually also on a double eco, so even though the rest of them should be able to get a relatively decent buy into this next round, Apex is probably going to be stuck on maybe a FAMAS or an SMG, which is never ideal because, of course, having a bit of a weaker investment, Team Spirit off the back of this round should be sitting on 4. And if they end up winning this next gun round, then they'll likely be bringing it up to 6 and they'll be putting themselves in a position where they've already recovered to half quite well. But let's just wait and see.
You know what I've just taken a look at? The opening duels for Vitality. They've won 3 so far.
Yeah, no, Idus Balance has opened up with that op quite a few times. He's been getting that first frag, I think, maybe 4 rounds?
Yeah,
if you
4
have a
for
look.
0.
Yeah,
4 for 0 in opening duels.
Trying to remember.
That's incredible. The fact that they're winning out. Idus Balance 4 for 0, Coldy 2 for 0 in opening duels, and then Sumda Young and Sotfig have 1 each. And yet they're still only closing out 3. That's shocking. MBK here, I mean, he's able to open the round with a USP.
Yeah, okay, they've done it. That's an opening duel. Maybe this means that they will be able to win this round, because even when they lose it, in the previous they'd had some success. But, I mean, a couple P250s in a Deagle, definitely have capable players over on that Vitality side, but Team Spirit just sticking together, using the range on those AKs, utilizing it extremely well. and just picking off anyone who's peeking from that CT spawn. It's all on ZywOo. We've seen a nice clutch a while ago, but a 1-on-4 with just the P250, I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe he can make it a little bit more costly. Not too much. Taking in one more frag, I mean, that is okay. Keep the economy relatively modest for Team Spirit, but even after reinvesting, they still have enough left in the reserve to be able to get another full buyout. And as I said, Apex keeps sitting on a double eco, Alex, on $3,900 in this round. The buy is going to come true, but an auto shotty in play, an M4 for Alex with just body armor, no utility at all, it certainly could be a much stronger investment.
No, it definitely could. Like that limited utility, like you said.
No kit as well.
Surprising then that you see the extra M4 being bought up. You could bet Alex having that extra. Yeah, no, ZywOo utility almost gets him killed, attempting to drop it towards top mid. But yeah, I'm surprised Alex maybe take a UMP here, get full util, get a kit out as well. Evidently, they don't feel like the bomb's going to be planted, and they haven't been in a situation really where timed defuses have been necessary for them. But still, you always want a kid to play with. They're out on short, and Coldie finds that out the hard way. Two players, ZywOo and RPK, get the damage onto him. So even though ZywOo is pretty low, I mean, he went into that engagement around half HP anyways. So an opening duel goes the way of Vitality. This is their 5th opening duel on the board. One of which was in an eco, so doesn't really count.
Yeah, all things considered, I mean, the scoreline, when you look at that statistic, is going pretty well for them. Been able to pull back from 4-on-5s time and time again. But yeah, right now they have that man advantage. But as we see Team Spirit move towards A, rather, this could get a little bit dangerous. I don't think they realize that Alex is just hiding in the back corner. Does manage to drop one, and that is the bomb that goes down now over and towards that ninja corner. So that's going to have to be retrieved. It's a 2-on-3 now in play. Molotov, at least towards the CT, is dangerous for ZywOo, taken down low already. And although he had a teammate there with a smoke, it just comes in a little bit too late.
They know that Apex is there, and they know where RPK is. But even still, RPK is able to walk away with 2. Sumda Young just crouch peeks out into him. So it's 9-4. Vitality walking away with what is a spectacular scoreline, considering how the early rounds have played out for them. You got 14
I don't know,
kills
no,
on the board
Mitch.
for Alex.
This could still get shaky. If Team Spirit win this round, then they're probably going to be going up against SMGs in the next one, and that would really give them the opportunity to actually take it up to 6 on the T side, which is certainly something they could be happy with. We do also have to remember the fact that this is a very, well, I believe it is the map choice of Team Spirit.
I'm kind of feeling shaky about Team Spirit, just with the fact that they've won so many opening duels on their terrorist side. And
you just don't have the spirit, Mitch.
Hey, but they haven't been traded back. That's the thing for me, right? It's not a case that they're going instantly into 4v4s. It's been the likes of Vitus Balance opening up in the op with no trades possible for Vitality, sometimes even losing 2 players early on, and yet they still walk away with the rounds. And it's that kind of position that if you're finding it hard to close those rounds out on your terrorist side, it's not going to get a whole lot easier when you move over to the defense and you're much more spread out. You're not able to play it as a team. And right now, as they look towards the A side, MBK is up hella aggressive with that UMP. He'll get early information for his teammates. As the utility comes over, there's 1 kill, but the flashbang, that costs him his life.
Yeah, it's definitely not the first time he's played in that spot either, so I was going to say Team Spirit probably will be at least clearing this one out with a flash, which they did. So very well played indeed. Something though actually going to get taken down. ZywOo pushed forward at a CT smoke, manages to find 2 before eventually he is sent to the grave, but it's still working out right now. Trades coming back and forth. Team Vitality bringing it down to that 1v1. RPK left in the clutch. Sumda Young, he's been one of the standout players as well for Team Spirit overall. Will he be able to help them get this 5th round and potentially a 6th on the board? He's elevating himself. Needs to be very cautious though. A swing coming through. He'd be left in the open, but it doesn't matter. RPK, unfortunately, peeking that angle a little bit slowly right there. Sumda Young spotting it out and taking himself a quick frag indeed. 5-9. And as I said, if that one didn't go in favor of Team Vitality, then they're left on a pretty weak investment, which would likely just be giving them SMGs. And it's actually even worse than I expected. I thought they'd have still a little bit of that lost bonus, but apparently not. It's a Scout, a Deagle, a 5.7, a P250, and a CZ. They didn't have 2 of any weapon at all, so it took a while to get through that.
They've got a whole mixed bag of pistols coming out.
Nice variety. Some Parabos.
At least ZywOo's got that Scout, though. It does make this buy much more viable. You bring pretty much anybody down to a 1-shot if you can body them with that Scout. But nobody's going towards A at the moment. You can see Spirit focusing early on towards spreading out, waiting for the aggression to come through. They know Vitality on the weaker buy are going to, they're going to be getting aggressive, and they've got 2 players holding that angle on Palace. So it's an easy opening duel for them. And with another under their belt up against this kind of buy, that hits the CT side even harder.
Yeah, it was a nice raid there, though. NBK trying to swap it up. He had been aggressive ramp before. It was like, I'll give Palace a go this time. Unfortunately, runs into two of the T-side players. I mean, he does get a bit of info, at least, off the back of it, but it doesn't really help Team Vitality out because they are still just going to be going for a pretty standard 2-2 split between those bomb sites. Alex is going to get that smoke down, be able to delay things just a little bit, but he's staying up close to the smoke, and the spam does eventually connect. Alex goes down, and that leaves a lot of pressure now on the shoulders of Zaiwu with that scout. The question is, are Team Spirit actually going to commit quite yet? They are taking their time, just setting up those smokes, playing things safe.
Oh, so take your scout and go on home. Idis Balance comes through with 2, shutting the round down and putting it over 9-6. A scoreline for Team Spirit that doesn't look terrible. I mean, for a T-side half, that's okay. Just considering how well they got on early round, though, I would have definitely rathered seeing them getting away with a lot more on the board. There's Vitality on their terrorist side. I feel like they're going to be able to work a hell of a lot better. And some of the rounds where we saw like the likes of Zaiwu being peaked on the A side, it just looked like he was in a shooting range, standing still, just taking targets as they came one by one. When we move to the CT side, I mean, Team Spirit are going to be definitely tested coordination-wise. But it's worth mentioning, again, if you guys weren't here towards the start, we were saying these guys have played each other 3 times on Mirage, and 2 out of 3 have gone to Team Spirit. It is an up-and-down map. I mean, Vitality, like we said, beat the likes of NRG, and then lose 16-3 to Sprout.
Sprout ain't bad.
Yeah, for sure they're not bad.
That.
But they're not a team that should be 16-3ing Vitality.
Oh, no, not 16-3, but if I remember correctly, Mirage is actually one of the better maps for Sprout. Although they did also relatively recently, I believe, have some changes in the lineup, so, or at least one change. But yeah, this second pistol round now, it is going to be super important, and I feel like it's probably more so important for Vitality because although they had that strong start, they did definitely begin to fall off a little bit, and I want to see them being able to actually pick up that momentum here going on to the second half. Because, as you said, statistically, when we have seen these two teams play on Mirage in the past, it has been Spirit that has been able to actually come out on top.
From what I remember, though, I'm pretty sure Spirit tend to perform a little bit better on the T side. I mean, you can say that for both these teams in Mirage. Taking a look at the last time they played Mirage, yeah, it was 7 rounds on the board for Spirit on the terrorist side. And it's not too much of a difference, really. Definitely not irrecoverable.
Again, what is Idis Balance's opening frags? This statistic at this point, it's got to be like 7. I remember at least 3 since then. Chopper getting dinked down though, so a little bit of damage at least being returned. And of course a full-on B stack apart from Coldy, who was sitting in that CT spawn just trying to play for the retake. Not gonna work out, but look at this. I'm not sure how Alex is actually allowed to survive right there. He was getting shot in the back, turns around, takes his time, gets a bit of help from the player pushed up in window as well, of course, and they just picked the entire Team Spirit lineup apart within the space of a couple of seconds, pretty much. It's all onto Sumdai Young. He's left an underpass with not really much that he can do, in all honesty. He doesn't even have that defuse kit. I think it's in kitchen.
And just like that, the pistol round goes to the terrorist side. A position that realistically, with Vitality having that under their belt, they should find it much easier to close this series out, but the fact is there's a lot of rounds between that and a victory. That's actually, I think, the first time I've seen the Krieg come out in round number 2. You see AKs a lot. I really like the investment. Taking the I mean, you know, good players. You get 2 SMGs coming out on the terrorist side. I like that when you win round number 1. Oh, but NBK is isolated. Really nice aggression from Team Spirit early on as they're able to retrieve one of those AK-47s and push themselves into a 4 versus 4. It doesn't look terrible for them. Everybody having armor and SMG in play as well, but you're up against 2 SMGs, and you've got that AK-47 with 2 5.7s to back it up. It's a formidable buy, and definitely not going to be an easy one to overcome for Team Vitality.
It was an interesting choice to actually put the AK up so close there in Palace. Normally, you'd send an SMG into that position because you're going to be getting pushed down by either an SMG or a pistol anyway, so you don't really need the AK, and of course, if you go down, then you're just giving them over a free rifle. So let's see. There is definitely a good opportunity right now. Softic, using that AK, effectively manages to take a quick headshot onto RPK, who's emerging from Palace, but unfortunately, haven't taken the damage, and Nade then follows it up from Apex. He will end up going down. And it is now a 3-on-3, but certainly still around here where Team Spirit do have a chance to get this one done if they can move quickly.
That would just post it up and just swing out on him, and there's a trade at least. An SMG frag as well, so a little bit of extra cash. Not terrible. They got to save over that Krieg for Lord Zaiwu. Get the drop to him, Apex. There we go. So 11-6. A position right now for Vitality, which isn't terrible, but they're forced down to they're forced into reinvesting on a couple of players. MBK buys up an AK, so they've got the guts of a strong buy for the next round. It's super important though that they survive with at least 4 players, or they're really going to feel the sting coming up against Team Spirit's full buy. Nice nade though, that's going to do so much damage. Some Young goes down to it.
There's not really too much now that Team Spirit can do about the rest of this round, in all honesty. Alex, but again, boosted himself up in the window. I think he jumped across right there, just gets pretty much a free frag on the Mac 10. The AK then coming through from Apex as well, and with that now, are they just going to commit up to A? It does seem like they will. They've left actually a lurker over towards the B apartments being RPK. He's waiting for the aggression to come through. At this point though, it's just going to be another frag even cut in favor of Vitality. Apologies, my voice right now is just giving up on me completely.
No worries, Dean. It's a round where I think Team Spirit are going to be giving up completely as well. Goldie in a 1 versus 5. We said they need to survive with at least 4 players. Vitality looking to do it with all 5. As Alex comes in with one more, it's the SMG frag, the one that matters. Building up a little bit of extra bank and making it perfectly feasible for him to buy an AK in this round and still have a little bit of bank left over. I think though, with the fact that they're on the terrorist side, you can definitely see a situation in which he keeps that Mac 10. I mean, to be honest, he's having a really good game. I wouldn't mind seeing an AK in his hands and the Mackie being thrown over to someone else. But then again, he's having a good game. Maybe he feels like he can get that little bit more aggressive with the Mac 10 and have success.
Yeah, that is the thing with SMG, is the confidence plays behind them is what really can help them be successful, because you need to be getting up close, you need to be getting personal with them, and a lot of the time if you're not having a good performance, you can be a little bit more afraid to take those peaks, etc., and to try and actually push forward. Well, let's see, 12-6 right now. Team Vitality, of course, off to a good start here on the T side. This is a round that I think it goes without saying Team Spirit do need to pick up to keep themselves in with a chance of actually taking this map. And as we did point out before, this is the map choice of Team Spirit, so if they end up losing this one and it heads on over towards Overpass, Team Vitality, of course, are going to be in a very strong position, a great position to head on into those finals with a swift 2-0.
Yeah, for sure. It's a spot for Team Spirit, like we said. Vitality are favorites coming into the series, but Spirit have an opportunity if they can take this map here. Great flashbang by Alex. A little bit botched it off the roof, but they're going to swing on over towards the B side. That did serve, though, to flash anybody that would have been peeking the apartments. Probably wouldn't be effective. Apex able to swing on out through the smoke and catch himself one, and in goes the Mac. Not finding all too much there on Alex. Close and personal, but it's the long-range duels that go their way. MBK picks them both off in the corner, trying to swing out. Team Spirit are left into a 2 versus 3. Dotfik and Sumdai Young caught in kitchen and completely trapped there. I mean, those smokes are just horrible for the CT side. If they try to push on through, they're forced to go in through the window. Not ideal. You're jumping through as well. And if you go in through the doorway, that smoke stops just as the door, or as you come into the open. If you're walking through blind, and you can be guaranteed there's going to be one player watching you with 3 alive. They can definitely expend a player to watch the doorway. Definitely the right call with the economy as well.
Also without a defuse kit, but even by the time those smokes ran down, there was also still a Molotov for NBK that could have been tossed out and then just funneled them through one of those choke points, and it would have made things even easier. So yeah, it wasn't really much that could be done by Team Spirit. They will save those 2 rifles over, of course, buy up off the back of them most likely. Softic and Sumdai Young are going to have to drop over the rifles, which is kind of the main thing that is going to impact their buy even more. Sure, they'll get the rifles out now, but utility-wise, it's not going to be spectacular. They don't have the op-for-itis balance, which I think kind of goes without saying when you've had a look at the statistics that he's had with that AWP so far. It's definitely an important factor of their gameplay to actually for them to try and pick up these victories. But they line up for Zywoo on mid. It actually started off pretty well there for Chopper, taking down Alex. I believe Zywoo even blinded for a while. But Itis Balance, he's going to try and fight back into it. Does catch NBK coming out of Palace and equalizes things up in a 3-on-3.
It's a very small amount of hope, but it's hope that you have to maintain. The Team Spirit need this round to be able to walk through with any chance, really, of taking the victory. Itis Balance gets aggressive, pushes all the way through A. But the problem for them right now is that Vitality have made their way onto the site. They've crept up through without any contact going towards Spirit. So there's a little bit of a gamble, I suppose, from Itis Balance as to which side it's going to be. The flashbang just dissipates. for Sundai Young to see his killer. RPK standing in the open. The smoke goes down the connector as they suspect now. Look, iDisbalance had a great flank, but he took so long that they now suspect a player to be around middle because of the rotation from B through short. They've got the smoke down. Team Vitality easily get their post plan set up. And again, it's a spot for Team Spirit that I don't believe they'll go for. They don't have a kit, and they've no money for the next round. These two weapons could be very valuable to them, but they're consistently left in this position. And now Vitality on 14 rounds, they've got a lot of bank built up as well. So it's not just a case of Team Spirit winning one round and then getting a free one to bring it up to 8. They're in a position that they'll have to fight against 2 to 3 full buys before they eventually see a free round, so to speak.
Yeah, I just don't know if I have the faith now for Team Spirit being able to pull this one back. I had said earlier on when you were kind of doubting them that I really did believe they could pull it back. And I mean, they did pull it back to at least having a decent T-side performance. But heading on to the second half, Vitality picked up the pistol and they've been on a steamroll ever since, of course. Issue is then when we head on to Overpass next, I don't really give Team Spirit much of a chance to even try and pick up the upset. I mean, coming into Mirage, we said it was a map that Team Spirit should be getting the victory on initially, that it is a pretty good map for them. But when we go on to Overpass, I feel like although... Okay, I've lost track of my point. I was going to say, this was a map that could have went either way. Overpass, on the other hand, I feel like it's almost a 100% win for Vitality in that matchup.
Well, I mean, you even look towards recent results, like they had a shaky one against Gamer Legion, but the Furia game just sets me over the edge as Vitality should be clocking this one up. They beat them 16-4 with a phenomenal CT side. And they had 12 rounds or something around that region over on their CT of Overpass. They've been performing really well there lately. Alex does fall to start it off with Apex on low HP. There's definitely a chance here, but they've managed to drag everybody up towards short. The second kill for MBK gives them a bomb site and a 3v2. And Team Spirit, despite starting the round off well, that Molotov's ticked chopperish down. Zywoo knows he's up close after hearing him. Oh no! Oh. He gets him eventually with a headshot.
I believe that was from a teammate as well.
Yeah, that was really awkward timing. Sundai Young pulls it back into a 1v1. He has no information on where Apex is. Apex crosses over to the second window. It's not expected. And the peak is well timed to bring it 15-6. And Vitality on the verge of victory. And the problem again for Team Spirit is that they do not have the cash.
Relatable.
Them feels.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually not too bad of a buy, all things considered. They don't have much utility. They have at least all rifles in play, 3 M4s, a couple of FAMASs. No kit, though. Not having the helmets, of course, not going to be a factor that actually comes into play when they're just up against those rifles either way. But it is just a very, very limited investment here. And even if they do end up picking it up, it's only the start of what has to be a very long road ahead of them because they are behind by 9 rounds. RPK picks up 3 quick headshots on the Krieg, rather catching that aggression coming through over towards B. And at this point, you'd imagine they just go ahead and commit towards that B bomb site, unless they're expecting that it could have been a full 5-man stack, and maybe that was a little bit of a mind game. Now they realize that's not the case because Sundai Young does drop Zywoo. Yeah, we're going towards A though. That's surprising me.
Sundai Young's last alive here. You got low HP on a lot of players. It's possible for him to pull it back. Apex is on full though. He's up close. Molotov goes down. When Sundai Young goes top stairs, Apex has the angle.